Have you ever wondered if businesses are actually making money on their Black Friday sales? And if they are making money, how are they making money, especially with their discounts that they're doing so much? Also, have you ever even wondered if those discounts are true? A bunch of videos came out this year saying that the discounts weren't actually true. My name is John. This is the Modern Commerce Podcast. Today, we are going to get into the actual data behind Black Friday. So first of all, are companies actually giving their best deals during Black Friday? There was a bunch of videos that came out this year that were, quote unquote, exposing companies that weren't giving their best deals during Black Friday. This is a video of somebody at Target. Somebody is showing the Black Friday sale sign. It says $649.99, and they're pulling out the sign behind there that also says $649.99, basically saying, oh, look, they're not actually on sale at all. Then they do another one that says $429.99, pull out the sign. It says $429.99 behind there. Basically, the overlying idea there is that, Black Friday not giving their best deals, or companies not giving their best deals during Black Friday. It's all BS. It's all just a way for them to, feed into consumerism and tell you it's the best sale of the year. But really, it's the same price as it always is. So Target and other brands have been catching a lot of flack for not actually doing their best deals during Black Friday and just changing their normal deal and saying Black Friday sale. Here's Brett Cooper, well-known creator from the Daily Wire, reacting to it.
They were just slapping a Black Friday name on it, hoping that people would come out and be like, oh my God, this is the sale of the season. We have to do it right now. No, it's the same sale. It's all marketing. It's all just hyper consumerism, trying to get everybody to get out of their houses and spend money they don't have because it's the best sale of the year. Newsflash, it's not.
Yeah, I get it. Look, it's super fun to create this narrative, but I call cap on this. If you want to believe a narrative, it's very easy to get a small amount of information, like a TikTok video that's a minute long, 2 minutes long, and then think, I hate big companies. I hate consumerism. This is just big companies feeding consumerism. But this is someone who's probably never worked in retail, either physical or digital. So honestly, I call cap on the people calling cap. In my mind, it would actually be easier to fake these videos than it would be for Target to try and get away with doing something like this. What's actually happening here is that a few years back in 2020, Target, Walmart, Best Buy, etc., decided it was actually safer to not have all of their best sales on one day of the year because people flock to the store on that day of the year. In 2020, they were all worried about having too many people flock to the stores on that day of the year. By November, in a lot of places, we were able to go out, if you remember 2020. But these brands didn't, these companies, these retailers didn't want everybody flocking to the store and creating these big crowds. So they did what a lot of online companies had been doing for a couple years before that, and they starting their Black Friday deals at the beginning of November, or maybe November 7th or November 10th or something like that. But that's a one-way door. You can only go through it once, because as soon as you do that, all of the online sellers are going to do that. All the other retailers are going to do that. And if you're Target or Walmart or Best Buy, now you've got to do it too. Now you can't create the frenzy around Black Friday. And if we're being honest, more people can buy things over more days, right? So if the sale is 10 days long, 15 days long, you can sell more volume. And online sellers, e-commerce brands, small brands, medium brands, and even large retailers like this, they're making up the bad margins that they're getting, the worst margins that they're getting of the year, because they are giving their best deals of the year. They're making that up by trying to sell volume. What's the best way to sell volume? Is more days. You can sell more volume in more days. Black Friday is not necessarily just the Friday after Thanksgiving anymore. That's the best way to think about this. Black Friday doesn't just mean the Friday after Thanksgiving anymore. It means the time period in which companies are giving their best deals. So the 4 peaks are the hot season, holidays, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Those are when more physical products are sold than any other time. And because of that, anyone who sells physical products give their best deals, their best discounts during those times, because they're leveraging volume. They're saying, I want, all the dollars are going to be spent. People are going to go out and they're going to buy a Mother's Day gift. People are going to go out and they're going to buy holiday gifts. I want as big a share of that as possible. The best way for me to get a biggest share of that as possible is to give the best deal possible. And the way that I'm going to make up for the reduced profit margin of giving my best deal is by getting a bigger fair share of all that money that people are already spending. This is how physical products have been sold for freaking decades. I didn't invent this, guys. Like, this is just how it's done. So anyone who's kind of saying it was a scam, look, honestly, a lot of those videos, it would be very easy to fake those. I'm not saying they're fake. I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to go so far as to say they're fake, but they would be very easy to fake if you wanted to. All you need to know is somebody who works at Target or somebody who works at Walmart. Like, it would not be hard to do that. Even if they're not fake, though, we're probably talking about a very few outlier cases that forgot to take their signs off. And those ones that forgot to take their signs off, most likely they just already had their best deal going. But I get it. If you've never worked in retail or if you've never worked in a physical product company, then it's really fun to just create this narrative because it gets a lot of views and a lot of clicks. And that's what you're here to do if you're a content creator. I want to talk about whether Black Friday actually works. The brands, the companies actually make money with these big, gigantic Black Friday sales that everybody talks about. So I've got a lot of data here from Triple Whale. So Triple Whale is basically a scoreboard, a dashboard for businesses to use. And about $2 billion worth of revenue went through Triple Whale this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the days surrounding Black Friday. So here are the numbers on Black Friday. So $2 billion. This is $2 billion in sales that we're going to talk about, $2 billion worth of data. So a bunch of purchases, lots of purchases that we're going to talk about. Big data to back up the stuff that we're going to talk about today. About $230,000 was spent on advertising. So a ROAS, a return on ad spend, meaning for every dollar spent on advertising, how many dollars were made in revenue? That was $8.14. So for every $1 that these companies spent on advertising during Black Friday, they made $8.14. So if you had a machine, you could go put $1 into it, you get $8.14 back. How many times would you do that? You'd do that as many times as you possibly could. These companies did it 2 billion times. So this was roughly 10,000 companies that we have the data of at Triple Whale. So it's lots of data here. New customer ROAS, that's the same thing, but for new customers. So not only is Black Friday really good for getting people to buy things, it's actually also really good for getting new customers who've never purchased from you before to buy things. So that's $4.47 there for new customer ROAS, meaning for every dollar you spent, you got $4.47 back just from new customers. That's huge because those are people who are going to buy again later. So first and foremost, first question, is Black Friday actually worth it? Are these brands actually making money from Black Friday? Answer here, big, resounding yes. Black Friday, very worth it for companies. It originally got its name. A lot of people know the story, but originally Black Friday got its name by being the time of year where all of the retail industry goes from in the red to in the black. So that's still very much the case. A lot of these companies are profitable for a lot of the year. They're not in the red all year anymore, but it's still an incredibly profitable time for brands. Still very worth it if you are a business owner to be doing Black Friday sales. But next question is how? How do you actually execute this? If I have a product to sell, where's the best place to advertise it? If you have a product to sell, where is the best place to advertise it? If you have a company that has a product to sell, how do you tell people about it? Very basic question that we're going to answer here. So we have some data on this as well. Right now, where is the best place to advertise products? Meta, meaning Facebook and Instagram, is still king. So if you have a product that you want to sell, you should be advertising on Meta. So this is the percentage of total purchases by channel. Facebook and Instagram, huge, 60% majority. The next is Google with 32%. And notable is TikTok. TikTok has 7% of the purchases. So TikTok is the third best place to advertise, first being Facebook and Instagram, second being Google or YouTube, the third being TikTok. And another notable thing to put in here is that Google is actually down year over year. Google isn't as good of a place to advertise year over year. So it's not as good this year as it was last year, whereas both Facebook and Instagram and TikTok have gotten better year over year. TikTok specifically is on the rise. It's gotten twice as good. Now, it still only makes up 7% of all the purchases during Black Friday, but last year, that was only 3%. That's a huge jump. That's like very big jump. Meta, Facebook and Instagram has only grown by 20% in terms of total purchases. Now they have the lion's share, so it makes sense that they're not growing by as much, but TikTok has doubled. So TikTok is really trying to dial things in right now. TikTok essentially is presenting the biggest opportunity. So if you're looking at this Black Friday data and you're wondering, what does this mean over the coming year? It means that TikTok is probably your biggest opportunity, especially now that TikTok has dialed in things like the TikTok shop and TikTok live shopping. I've seen a lot of brands really go big on live shopping over this year. And I've seen a lot of brands do really well with the TikTok shop. I've seen a lot of creators actually do really well with the TikTok shop. In fact, if you're a creator, actually signing up for the TikTok shop so that you're an affiliate allows you to promote any product from any brand that's in the TikTok shop. And those videos are actually getting more impressions from TikTok. So TikTok is actually motivated to push those videos that feature a product out. So if you're a creator, you definitely want to be creating videos that have products in the TikTok shop. So they have tagged products in the video. Even if the video isn't about the product, you still want to be tagging products in your videos because those videos are going to go more viral. TikTok is pushing those more. Now, if the video is not good, then the video is not going to go viral. But if the video is good, it's way more likely to go viral with those products in it. So if that's a creator, that's what you want to be doing. Even if you're a brand, that's what you want to be doing. If you're a brand, you want to make sure all of your best products are in the TikTok shop. And you may want to be doing a lot of seeding and sending products to TikTok content creators because you want them to be making videos that have your products tagged in them. So TikTok, incredibly big opportunity for business owners, also an incredibly big opportunity for creators over the coming years. However, if you're paying to advertise, Facebook and Instagram are still king. If you're trying to go organic, and you're trying to use organic social media to grow your brand, then TikTok is probably where you should go all in and put all of your focus on in 2024. Going back to paid advertising, if you're a business running paid advertising, nobody's killing it on TikTok without killing it on Meta first. So I'm going to show you something here. So we're going to go to page 28 of this report. This is ROAS by channel. So this is return on ad spend. So you remember that number where I said how many dollars do you make for every dollar you spend on advertising? This is that by channel. So this is for brands that do less than $1 million a year. So just for brands that are less than $1 million a year, companies making less than $1 million a year. These are all physical product brands, meaning they sell, flashlights like this, or they sell some kind of physical product, clothing, something like that. $1 million a year for a physical product brand is not that much, because roughly half of that, or sometimes even more than half of that, somewhere between a third and half of that, is just their cost of goods sold. Plus they have to pay to advertise, plus they have to pay to store it, pick, pack, ship it. So $1 million a year for a physical product brand really translate to maybe, $50K to $120K in income for the owner of that brand. So it's a good living at $1 million a year, but it's not huge. It's not what it sounds like. It's not like making $1 million a year selling a service or selling a software or something like that. So these are brands that are smaller, companies that are smaller, making $1 million a year or less. So companies that are smaller on Facebook and Google and Instagram, so Meta properties, they're doing 2.77 ROAS. They're only doing 1.95 on TikTok, right? So Meta, way better for them. Snapchat, actually decent for them as well, but Snapchat, big time downswing, and there's just not very much volume. Not very many people can advertise successfully there. Now, here is the aggregate of all brands. So not just the small brands, but all brands. Here, TikTok is a lot better. It's a lot closer to what Facebook and Instagram is. It's a 3.29 ROAS, meaning they're making $3.29 on TikTok for every dollar they spend on advertising. And on Facebook and Instagram, they're making roughly the same, 3.48. But those smaller brands that are just getting traction, that are just early. So if you're a small company, just early, just getting going, focus on advertising on Facebook and Instagram. If you're going to run paid ads, focus on TikTok. If you're going to run organic, if you're going to try and do organic social media or use content creators or seed products to creators, that kind of thing. So that's kind of the takeaway here from this Black Friday. The other thing that I will note here is that the channel that is most effective to advertise on, so whether it's Facebook and Instagram or TikTok, Google, or whatever, might actually depend on the cost of the product. So most of these channels have relatively similar what's called AOVs, or average order values, how much people pay when they buy the product. So on Facebook and Instagram, that average order value is nearly $95. It's $94.86. On Google, it's very similar. It's $92.02. On Pinterest and Snapchat, it is a little higher, $117.88, but it's very similar. It's kind of within one standard deviation of Facebook. So if you're advertising on Facebook and Instagram or Google, it does better with products that are like $90 to $95, or when people are going to be spending $90 to $95 to purchase. TikTok does better with lower priced products. Now, I could speculate as to why. I don't have that data. TikTok might appeal to a younger demographic. These might be more impulse shoppers, or the costs there might be cheaper. So this actually could just be a symptom of everyone who has cheaper products is going to TikTok, and they're not advertising as much on Facebook and Instagram anymore because Facebook and Instagram are getting too expensive for them, but they can still profitably advertise on TikTok. However, TikTok, the average order value there is roughly half. It's actually less than half. It's $42.99, $43. And it's the only one out of Facebook, Instagram, or Meta properties, Google, and TikTok. It's the only one of those three that's average order value has actually gone down year over year. So TikTok, that's really hit its stride in the last year and is really doing well from an advertising standpoint. And it's driving way more volume of purchases and becoming a real player in the space. It's the only one of the three real players, right? It's the smallest of the three real players, but it's the only one of the three that has actually had a reduction in the average amount people are spending when they make a purchase. So it's gaining its positioning for marketers and for companies by saying, hey, if you have a lower priced product, come here with it. This is where you can advertise your lower priced products, whereas Meta and Google are getting they're getting higher. So higher and higher priced products are the things that are working on those channels. TikTok, we already covered this. Meta and TikTok. One more thing that I will cover here. We covered this a little bit. Meta, so Facebook and Instagram, and TikTok are the only two that are actually getting better returns for advertisers year over year, right? So if you look at all of these, the amount of dollars that advertisers are getting back for the amount of dollars that they're putting in, that ROAS number we talked about, that's getting worse year over year on every platform except for Meta and TikTok. That's actually pretty huge for Meta because Meta has gotten worse year over year for a bunch of years in a row, and now they're back up. TikTok, however, making huge jumps, right? There's only two that made a huge jump. Snapchat made a huge jump in the wrong direction. The returns there have gotten way worse in the last year, and TikTok made a very big jump in the right direction. It's gotten more profitable for advertisers year over year. So another thing to note, Meta and TikTok, the only two places where advertising is getting more profitable year over year. So yeah, in summation here, where do you advertise products? Most likely Facebook and Instagram, but TikTok has a place too. And if you're going to go organic, definitely TikTok is the place to be. Definitely make sure you're getting your TikTok shop going. Make sure you're maybe trying some TikTok live selling. And if you have a lower priced product, maybe give TikTok a little bit more play as well. So next overlying topic, when something goes on sale for Black Friday, do people who already want that buy that? Or is it actually reaching new people who had never heard of that company before? So are people just waiting for a sale? In other words, is it worth doing a sale? Because if you do the sale, then people are waiting for a sale and you make less profit. But if you don't do the sale, people are going to buy it anyway. So have a couple data points here as well. There's not a lot of ways to measure this. The only real way to measure it is in new customers. So how many of the customers that were acquired are new customers? So here are the numbers for all stores, all shops in 2023. And it's up a little bit, but 60% of the customers buying on Black Friday, Cyber Monday are actually new customers, meaning they have never purchased anything from that company before. 60% of the people making a purchase during Black Friday are new customers who have never purchased from that company before. So the answer is running a sale does actually get you new customers, people who are new to brand and have never bought anything from you before. Now, I will put this caveat on here. If you were to split up that 60% and say, how many of those people heard about the company for the first time during Black Friday, and how many of them had already heard about it and were maybe waiting for a sale to make their first purchase? That we don't know. We don't have any data on. But I think that it's safe to say most people are not buying from a brand that they've heard about for the first time on Black Friday. But that's also safe to say anytime. Rarely do you buy something from anyone when it's the first time you're hearing about them. That's just not how purchasing relationships work. Think about the last thing you bought. Think about the last 10 things you bought. Were any of those impulse purchases where you'd never heard of that product, or you'd never heard of that company before, or you'd never shopped at that store before? No, usually people buy things from people and companies that they know, like, and trust. So that would be true all of the time. However, Black Friday is a good time to get new customers. So what does that mean? What do you do? What is the action here if you're a business? The action is, in the months leading up to Black Friday, you want to raise awareness, because people will pull the trigger once that sale is there. And if you want to try and wait and make sure, and like, I don't want them to pull the trigger on a sale, that's fine. Then advertise at full price for all of the months leading up to the sale. And if you can do that well and profitably, then don't have a sale. But if you're not doing that well and profitably, that's fine, because you're getting a bunch of new people into your brand. You're getting a bunch of new eyeballs on your company and on your products. And those are people who can buy during Black Friday. And Black Friday is a good time to get people over that line. Getting people over that line is huge, because if you have a great product, which you probably do, why would you be watching this if you don't have a great product? Why would you really even be in business if you don't at least believe you have a great product? Now, you might not have a great product. Your product might actually suck, but you don't think that. You think you have a great product, right? So if you believe you have a great product, why would you if you think you have a great product, getting somebody to make a purchase for the first time is huge, because if they experience that product and it really is great, then they'll buy more stuff from you, or they'll buy that product again if it's a product that they run out of, right? So if it's if you have a supplement that really, really works for people, they're going to buy it again once they make that first purchase. And Black Friday is a great time to get them to make that first purchase. It's still very worth it if you're a company to do Black Friday. And if you are advertising, then your best bet is going to be Facebook and Instagram. If you are trying to get a bunch of organic views and traffic and sales, your best bet is going to be TikTok. This has been a short one, guys. It's going to be a quick quick modern commerce for you. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to have another one coming at you guys soon about, what is kind of the main difference between really big brands that do more than $50 million a year in sales, and brands that do 1 million or less in sales. Like, what are the biggest differences, and what are the things that change along the way? So we got that video/episode coming soon. So make sure you follow wherever you're listening or viewing, subscribe, leave a comment, drop a comment. Tell me if you think what do you think? You think these videos could be faked? I want to know. And also, leave a review if you are on an audio platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or something like that. And we will see you next time on ModCom. Peace. And we will see you next time on Modern Commerce. Peace.